Hello everyone and welcome back to another hardcore video. I've been wanting to build a museum in my world for a while now to display collectibles and store some decor items, and today we're finally going to be doing that. It's also officially the 1 year anniversary of being in this world, so if you're still watching this series to this day, then thank you so much. Truly, I cannot thank you enough. I would not still be making these episodes if it weren't for you. But anyway, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump on into the video. We have so much to do in today's episode, so I did go ahead and start gathering some materials that we're going to need for our build, but I still have so much more that I need to collect, starting with some copper golems. I'm going to use copper golem statues for the museum design, so I figured that I could go ahead and craft the copper golems so that they can start statuifying. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but we're gonna figure it out together. First, I need these pumpkins. Oh, look at the villager just like wandering around outside of the chateau. That's so funny. I'm going to need at least 7 copper golem statues, and I also don't want them to like mess with anything, so let's build them a little dirt pen. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I just place pumpkins on top of them and then shear the pumpkins. Look at all of them. They're so cute. Oh, no, stop it. Okay, go back in. I want to get rid of all their chests because you're not going to need them. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it feels kind of evil to shove a bunch of copper golems in a dirt pen just to wait for them to solidify, but it feels a wee bit evil. I guess we'll check on them here in a moment. The next thing that we are going to have to work on collecting is some more quartz. You've seen the thumbnail, so you know that this is not going to be enough quartz for this entire museum, but the problem is that my mason villagers way up here on top of the castle just aren't effective enough for me to get all of the quartz I'm going to need. Also, my way of getting emeralds is just not effective enough either, so we are going to have to resort to other measures to get more quartz. And of course, you naturally get quartz in the Nether, so I think that we're going to go over to the Nether to collect some, which sounds like a terrible idea. Trust me, I know, but I think it's going to be the best way for us to get more quartz. The alternative is AFKing at the pumpkin and melon farm, and then trading with the farmer villagers to get more emeralds, and then trading with the mason villagers to get more quartz. I'm also going to need some fire protection potions. Do I have any in here? Does not look like it. Do have this one splash potion of fire resistance, but looks like I'm going to have to gather some more materials. Wait, do I have any in my ender chest? Oh, I do. Okay, wait, we're good. Let me also get another totem in my inventory. I'll also get some golden apples. You can never be too careful. And with that, I think that we have everything that we are going to need to hopefully survive this Nether trip. So we'll hop in and hopefully get tons and tons of quartz. So far, it's looking real good. I'm being sarcastic. Oh my god. Hello. Oh. I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. We survived the Nether and we got literally so much quartz. Now I have to actually fortune it all, and I'm sure we're going to get so much more. If this isn't enough quartz, honestly, I don't know what we're gonna do. It better be enough. Also, all my chests are literally so messy. Like, hello, what is going on here? Look at all of this. It's insane. Here's what these chests look like. I definitely need to get on this and organize it a little bit better. Also, I have officially run out of coal, so I've been going into the depths of my world to get lava so that I can actually smelt things. I just need to get my life together in this world. Everything is so messy and so unorganized. I think that in the next episode, we are going to be building a variety of farms that I really need, like a lava farm, for example. I also so badly need a gunpowder farm. I also need some other little random farms like a cactus farm, and honestly, I would love to get a pumpkin and melon farm around my base. So you can look forward to that in the next episode. I need to smelt up all of the quartz so that we can make smooth quartz. And also I will need copper because I'm going to use a little bit of it for the roof. We are almost ready to start building, I promise, but one very last thing that we need to collect just a wee bit more of is some sand. There's going to be a lot of glass in this museum, hence why we need the sand. And you know, there's some sand right here. No reason to fly all the way over to the desert. This will do. While I have my sand, my copper, and my quartz smelting up, let me go ahead and start clearing out an empty spot for this museum. And I'm planning on putting the museum kind of right here to the left of the castle. I'm kind of running out of good spots to build things in my world. I feel like everything is so hilly and mountainous, but we're gonna make this spot work. It's kind of flat up here. The only problem is that this build is going to be very large, and in order to get to the pathway, it's pretty steep. So therefore I do want to flatten it a little bit to get the foundation of the museum closer to the pathway. So let me stop yapping and just get to clearing out this land. This is how the cleared out land is looking right now, and I did go ahead and map out the build just so that I could see exactly what land I needed to clear out. Also, I'm not quite sure what to do about this cliff right here, but I'm hoping that I can just build the build and then ignore it. I just won't put any windows on these back walls, I'm thinking, but if I do need to tear down the wall and do something with it, I guess I will. But for now, we will just leave it like that. I also haven't checked on the copper golem, so I want to take a little peek and see how they're doing. Oh wait, they literally haven't started oxidizing at all. How long is this gonna take? After doing a bit of research, it looks like it can take at least 25 days for a copper golem to turn it into a statue. I've seen some people say that it's taken them over 100 days. So I guess we'll just keep on checking in on these guys, see how they're doing. Thank goodness I did that at the beginning of this episode. Also, it kind of makes me want to just have like a massive pen of copper golems. That way they can slowly be oxidizing over time, and then anytime that I want to use a statue, I have one ready to go. Also, I did spread out some copper blocks to get them to oxidize a little bit. But now it is officially time to start building the museum. So let's start off by pillaring up all of the pillars. The front door is going to be here in the center, and then we'll have some windows on either side. So let's get those archways in for the windows. We'll do that with smooth quartz staircases and slabs. I want the trim for the roof to be very thick and grand. I'm thinking kind of like the sky temple that we did way over there. Both builds are very Roman inspired, so they're going to have a lot of the same elements. Here is kind of what that arch is looking like. We'll copy that same arch design on the other side and then carry that thick roof trim all the way along the top. We have this little gap right here, and I want to try to add some of this light gray terracotta in there. I could of course just place a line of terracotta without thinking of the pattern of it, but I do actually want to think about the pattern. So if I do it like so, and we look at the front of it, it looks kind of cool. Much better than if I just placed it directly across. Also, I will say that I am very, very worried about my quartz supply. I don't think I'm going to have enough. And I'm only this far into the build, and I'm already worried about how much quartz I have. So anywhere I can skimp out on quartz, I'm going to. I do have some quartz that I didn't fortune, but I still don't know if that's going to be enough. Also, what is this design going to look like? Because I think I placed a little bit different. Oh yeah, that's so wacky. I definitely want them to look the same, so let me try again. What about this? Does this look the same? Yes, perfect. Now that the roof trim is kind of done, let me start to get in the actual roof. And I am going to strategically be placing slabs so that they don't touch. They're just gonna look like this. So just like the little corners will touch. But this is very tedious and I have to be very strategic with it. Like, see, I've already messed it up. If I just get the whole roof in, maybe I can go back in and fix it from here. That's the plan. And actually, I think it's gonna work pretty well. I feel like it just gives it a sleeker look. It doesn't look as chunky as this one on the left. To give it a little bit more depth, I do want to place some slabs behind and underneath the front slabs. So we will have something that looks like this. So we have kind of a double trim thing going on. Ignore those random planks, but this is what the front is looking like so far. Pretty good. It's looking kind of like a bank. I do believe that I'm going to jump around everywhere while I'm building this. So now I want to work on this left section. We are going to put the roof on standby. The left and right side are not going to be as tall as the middle. So we're still going to have a fancier trim, but it's not going to be as thick as this front trim. We'll have an arch up top like this, and now we can start to get the actual wall in, I'm thinking. We're going to do lots of windows all over this build. It will be a very window heavy build. So on each of these openings, we will do some cyan stained glass. And I do want to frame all of the windows with some little archways. I feel like archways just make things look fancy. So obviously, the more archways, the fancier. And I do want this to be a very fancy build. Maybe on this side, we'll do a 3 wide window as well. I can go ahead and add that same arch design I've been doing. Of course, I don't want to have windows here on the back wall because it's just going to be facing this ugly hill. But I do need to still add the roof trim, even though that it kind of pains me to do because I'm running out of quartz. If it wasn't already clear, this area will be the window, and then we will fill the rest in with smooth sandstone. But before I fill everything in and then copy this over on the other side, I do want to show you what I'm going to do with the roof over here. I thought that it would be really cool to have some kind of glass roof incorporated into the museum. So we're going to have glass roofs on the left and right side. The middle roof will be filled in completely, so no glass in the middle. Also, clearly we are using cyan glass again. We're using lots of cyan, and then we'll use a little bit of aged copper on the middle section. And obviously I want oxidized copper golem statues, so that's another kind of cyan color that we're going to add into the build. Also, my little copper blocks are doing so good oxidizing. Wow, look at them. I know that I did not space them out how they should be spaced out to oxidize as quickly as they can, but I just don't have a big open area to spread out copper to oxidize it. You gotta do what you gotta do with the space you have. And the copper can continue to oxidize once it's actually on the roof. Clearly, we have a little domed roof going on. And I feel like whenever you have a domed roof, you have to do some kind of brace around it. I mean, obviously you don't have to do anything, but I feel like adding some kind of brace around it kind of just makes it look a little bit better. So we'll be adding pale oak trap doors and also some fences. Thank goodness we have white wood because there are no quartz trap doors or even quartz walls. So I'm so glad that we have these blocks blocks in the game. How's it looking? I feel like it's looking pretty good so far. Granted that the walls aren't even filled in yet, but the roof is pretty much done. Don't mind me, copper golems, just doing a little wee peek. Has anyone oxidized even just a little bit? No, of course they haven't. But look how the build is coming along. It's gonna look so cool up there. It's very, very different from the vibe of the rest of my builds, that's for sure. But it's gonna stand out so much, and I think it's just going to be a nice addition to my world. But now that you've seen how the sides are going to be looking, let me go ahead and get the right side in and finish filling in the left side. Also, look how cool it's gonna look once we're actually in the museum. I love the roof. That looks so neat, and this one's gonna be so high up. I'm so excited. Anyway, let's do this thing, shall we? Progress has been made with the museum. Both the left side and right side are pretty much done. Now to finish up the middle portion, I think that I want to start to get the roof in first. Also, I did go ahead and add that peak to the back as well. I did also have to go back to the Nether, and I had to AFK at the pumpkin and melon farm to get a little bit more quartz. Honestly, I still don't know if we're going to have enough. I think we should be fine. Oh, and I had to collect even more sandstone because I didn't have enough. I just severely underestimated how many materials I was going to need for this build. And a quick update on the copper golems before we get on to building. Look, we have 2 that have weathered just a little bit. Though I don't know if they're going to be statues by the end of today's episode. I highly doubt it. Also, this copper over here has barely weathered at all, but I guess some weathering is better than no weathering. Again, I do want to get the copper all the way to this level of oxidation, but you know, we're just going to work with what we have, and we really don't have much. So for the roof, I'm going to do stripes of copper, and then the next stripe will be quartz. You know, we actually might not have enough quartz, and I really don't know what to do at this point. The last time I went over to the Nether to collect more quartz, I accidentally hit some zombie piglins with my bow, and they all came running after me, and so I left. Are they still mad at me? I have no idea. I really don't want to find out. But getting quartz through the Mason villagers just takes way too long. It's honestly faster to go to the Nether, though I have cleared out a lot of the quartz around my Nether portal. Note to self, if I ever am going to do another build project with this much quartz, I am definitely going to figure out a better way to get quartz first. What if instead I just use pale oak on the ceiling? It would definitely be a lot cheaper. Let's just see what it looks like. I would definitely use stripped logs, I'm thinking. Honestly, I feel like you can barely tell a difference. Yeah, let's just do that instead. We're using the poor man's quartz. That blends in seamlessly. Perfect. Okay, this is great. Great news for us. I don't have to go back to the Nether. I do have to go collect more pale oak wood, but that's easy peasy. We just have to fly over. Hello? We just have to fly over here. Super easy peasy. And there we have a finished roof other than the copper that needs to oxidize. How are the copper golems doing? Oh, look, I think they're all oxidized just a little bit. Oh, that's so great. Okay, we're making progress. And then lastly, all we need to do is finish up the walls and add the details. What do you think of the build? It looks so cool, doesn't it? Clearly, I finished up all of the walls and I added details to the outside, and also I did go ahead and add the flooring and the ceiling to the interior. I went for a checkerboard flooring. I love me a good checkerboard flooring, and this was the perfect opportunity to add one. We have a little sandstone trim around the left and right sections of the museum and arches to go into each section. For the main ceiling, I did kind of just ignore the fact that we have windows here at the tip of the roof. I added that same sandstone sandstone trim with some copper and this fancy little chandelier. Now eventually, of course, these blocks will oxidize completely and then the ceiling will really be complete. And eventually I will get some artwork in here and actually furnish the interior. But first I want to create some kind of retaining wall so that we are able to get into the museum a little bit easier. As you can see, we have lots of trees and hills leading up to the museum. You can kind of think of this wall as being similar to the castle wall, obviously just much smaller, but we are going to kind of do that same vibe. So let's start off by making a stone flooring. We'll kind of outline the retaining wall first. When in doubt, if you have weird land somewhere, something that's a little bit awkward, then just add a retaining wall. It makes your build feel so much more grand and hides all of the weird, ugly, awkward bits. And speaking of weird, awkward, ugly bits, this is kind of how the back of the build turned out. Clearly, the hill goes right up to the back of the build, so it's a little bit awkward, but also I don't have a better way to fix it, so this will do. And I don't think it looks that bad, right? To fill in the retaining wall, we're just going to use a stone and a stone brick. Because we are quartz poor, we're just going to use pale oak stairs for our stairs. We'll have a landing here and then we can continue to bring the stairs down. I'm not quite sure how we're going to figure out a pathway to go all the way down, but at least we're a little bit closer to the main pathway. So we'll just continue working on the wall and then we'll figure that out later. We are essentially copying the castle wall exactly. We're just kind of switching out the blocks with different kinds of blocks. So for this trim, we'll use sandstone. Of course, on the castle, we used wood. On the corners, we're going to place these chiseled sandstone blocks with the little creeper faces. And to connect these blocks, we'll use these sandstone walls, which I feel like adds a really nice texture. Let's take a step back and see how that retaining wall is looking. And I personally think it makes this build so much more grand. For the copper golems, whenever we do eventually get them, I want to place the little statues on these chiseled blocks. Also, I want to place another one right here up at the top. That's going to be so cute. So we'll have little copper golem statues all over the place. Speaking of the copper golems, how are they doing? It seems like they're doing about the same. It is actually crazy how long it takes for these to weather. I am so serious whenever I talk about making some kind of pit for them and then just placing hundreds of copper golems all in that pit. And then anytime I want a copper golem statue in the future, I can just get one out of the pit. Please let me know if you've made a copper golem pit before. I think it's a genius idea and I guarantee you someone has done it. Anyway, I am working on clearing out a space so that I can actually connect a pathway over here to the main pathway. Again, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do this. We're just gonna figure it out together. Part of me is actually thinking that maybe we shouldn't have staircases on the sides, but rather just at the front. I just don't want it to be too steep or it's gonna look kind of clunky. We'll just place some blocks, do a little bit of brainstorming, see how I can make this look good. I'm thinking that it could be kind of cool if we place a little garden here. So we'll have a pathway wrap around like so. These pathway vibes definitely don't match at all, but that's not my problem right now. Also, look at this grass block just floating in the air. It's definitely from an Enderman. But this is kind of what we are looking at. Let me add some little trims and such to make it look a little bit better. So we can kind of do the same thing that we did up here on any weird section. So we'll add the staircases, even the little chiseled sandstone, and then the walls. What are we thinking? I feel like we need some kind of border or something here. Maybe we could just do leaves or something natural. If we take a step back, what does this look like? I mean, it looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with it. I think definitely not what I had originally envisioned, but I think it's pretty cool. And I love just walking around up here. It feels so neat. I'm going to gather some fun decorational items. like some flowers, and I figured that these pitcher pot flowers would be perfect because we have lots of cyan accents in the museum. Also, while I am over here, let's see how our little sniffer seed farm is doing. I rarely go down here. Oh my goodness, we have so many. You know, I could breed the sniffers. Why have I not done that yet? Here we go, Pibble and Snibble. Oh my goodness, I kind of forgot their names for a second, but they're so cute. Where's their baby? Pibble, Snibble. Oh yeah, it's an egg. I know that if I place this on moss, it'll grow faster, but I don't have moss right now, so we'll just place it there. Anyway, I just got a wee bit distracted. Let's also grab some azalea bushes, and maybe we'll do peonies for our other flower. We'll bring some azalea leaves as well, and maybe some rooted dirt and coarse dirt. I don't really have much of a plan, but let's see what I can come up with. Here's our little garden situation, and now that this is finished, we can go ahead and start working on the interior of the museum. Oh, and the museum will have a door at some point. I put it here in this nice open area to hopefully have it oxidize faster. Clearly, that's not really happening. The first and possibly most important thing that I want to add to the interior of the museum are a few shelves. As I'm sure you know, if you've been watching this world for a while, I've been trying to come up with creative ways to have my storage in this world. I don't just want a massive storage room and then me to inevitably spend all of my time in said storage room. So that's why we keep the wool in the wool farm and then our wood over at the lumber mill. And in the museum, I want to use it primarily for decor and other collectibles. I have so much just random junk, as you saw at the beginning of today's episode, just around my house. And I figured that this museum could be the perfect place to store all of that random junk. So if it's an item that you get in some kind of loot chest, like horse armor, that's the perfect thing to store inside of the museum. Or collectibles like armor trims. Even the glass I'm going to store in the museum for now because it's a decor item. So decor and loot will go inside of these chests. On this side of each wing, I'm going to place some little pedestals so that we can display some pottery sherds. I do already have a couple pottery sherds, but eventually I would love to collect all of the pottery sherds that Minecraft has. I also have the dragon egg that I have yet to display, so maybe we can place it inside of the museum. This seems like the perfect place to put the dragon egg. I don't know if this is the location for it, but maybe we can just start with it here because I do want to display some paintings in the museum, of course. So on this back wall, we'll do a couple of these really large paintings. I just have to place them in the perfect location. Whoa, look at that one. I don't think I've ever used that one before. Probably because it's so huge, but this is the perfect opportunity to use it. Maybe we'll do some of these 2x2 ones on the top of these big ones. And also, this is my all-time favorite painting in Minecraft. Look how cute. I am so glad that they added more paintings. It's honestly so cool. What will we get here? Okay, the wither, why not? We do need to find him here soon. Wait, look how cute that little gallery wall is. I could place some of the 1x1 paintings here. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, I love this so much. Hello, that looks so cool. Let's go ahead and start working on these pottery sherds. Oh, look, the door. It's oxidizing. Look, we have the sniffer pottery sherd. I definitely thought that we had more pottery sherds, but that seems to be about it. I'm just going to make a bunch of placeholder empty pots. So we'll have one here and here in front of the windows, and then another one in the middle. And on this other side, I want to place another pot. Maybe at some point we can figure out a different item to place here, but for now we'll just do a pot. And because we have more space for paintings, let's do one of those 2x1 paintings on top of the pot. I think it could be really cool to eventually have some armor trims on display here. So maybe I can make a couple of extra pedestals. I can't believe I still haven't done anything with armor trims yet. I still have yet to even just get an armor trim for my main armor. I definitely need to get on that for sure. The last thing that I want to do is add a little bit more lighting around the museum because it's kind of dark right now. And obviously any copper you see will eventually be all the way oxidized, including the chests. I want everything to be the full level of oxidation. I think that goes without saying at this point. Ignore the fact that I am out of copper chests. I am just completely out of copper, believe it or not. Didn't think that was ever going to happen. But now the last thing to do is to go through and organize all of these chests. So let me get busy doing this and I will hop back in once everything is nice and tidy. I feel like I have been working on this project for a very, very long time now, but everything is officially complete. On the right side, we have more loot-esque items, and some things are very specific. Like, do we really need a whole chest for a single music disc? Also, how do I only have one music disc? But the more that I'm in this world and the more that I use the museum for storage, I can kind of adjust it according to what makes more sense for me. Over on this left side, we have more decor-esque items. So we have glass and we have different lighting blocks. I even put my dyes here, which is great because I had my dyes literally in like every single chest in my house. I put some little armor stands here for now, just to signify that I do eventually want to place some armor here. And I put our little dragon head up there above the door. I figured that was a perfect place for it. And I placed the door on. I'm just so happy with how this turned out. And from the outside, you can see the art and that looks so cool too. And you can see the pots, you can see the chests. I do have quite literally so much copper that needs to be oxidized, but that is kind of the point of copper, right? It kind of signifies how long you've been in your world. So if you have a bunch of oxidized copper everywhere, then it's likely that you've been in your world for a long time. So it makes sense that it's going to take a little bit of time for it to actually reach the level of oxidation we want. And also, it's going to be such a flex to have copper golems all over the build and the walls because these guys take forever to cook up. But I am going to go ahead and wrap this episode up here. I hope that you have enjoyed it. This has been a really fun one to record, and I'm so happy that we have this beautiful build in the world now. If you haven't already, then definitely be sure to like and subscribe. I hope that you all are having a lovely, lovely day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye! Oh, did not mean to do that. That's so cool. I feel like I just need to... This always makes me giggle. Look how I run. Where's my bed? Where's my bed? Okay. After doing... Oh... Wait, I didn't mean to do that. We'll do that with smooth quartz staircases and slabs. Oops. I could just place a line of the terracotta without thinking much about it, but I do want to No. I do have some quartz that I didn't fortune, so I can fortune that, but I don't know. Now on top of the trim, we're just going to have a roof shaped like a normal roof. Yeah. Now that the roof trim is kind of done, let me start to get in the real... Oh my goodness. Hallelujah. 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 I added that same sandstone trim. Oh, stop it. No. Actually, that just reminded me, I had a dream that I got a wither skeleton skull. I don't think that actually happened though. I mean, I did get one, but only one. Oh my gosh, I thought the door was a creeper.